All right, we are going to learn about the following functions. This is a sample worksheet. It shows Westlands school student records. It's fictional for learning purposes. These are records given, just part of them, so that you can learn how to use. So there is a name of a student, there is age of the student, year, freshman, junior, senior, sophomore, freshman. So for example, student Abby has age 18, is in year freshman, hometown reading, eye color blue, percentage grade 91, letter grade A. So we shall use some of these functions as we go on. These records will help us to find out all these. So if this column B has the age of students, how do we get the average age of students? Average age, the average of this. Yeah, so we shall use one of the functions I listed here. It's called average. How do we write a function? Begin with an equal sign, open, type the name of the function, average, open brackets. We need to know in which range of cells we are looking for the average. So it's B3 from this up to B18. So you type there B3 full colon B18. This is the same as saying B3 to B18, close brackets and press enter. The average age is 20.875. That's the average. Yeah, you don't mind about the decimal points. If you don't want the decimal point, because nobody will tell you I'm 20.3, so you go up here and you remove the decimal places so that it remains 21. It has been rounded off. Yeah, if you feel you don't want it to be rounded off, you can leave it as 20.9. That was just one decimal place. So if I'm to mark this, if I'm to check whether I used a formula, I'll click in that and then I'll look at the formula bar. This is the formula bar here, and I'll see equals to average B3 to B18. Yeah, so if you just typed in here 20, then you have not used it correct, then it's wrong. How do we get the highest edge? Highest edge, we are going to use a function called max. Max is short for maximum. So what is the maximum edge? Not like is in maximum, but it's the highest edge. That's the function name used in spreadsheets. So we shall say equal to max, open bracket as usual. Remember, still we are looking for the highest edge, and we saw the edge values are from B3 up to B18, and then you close the brackets, press enter. This is the highest edge. If you want to confirm, go through that list and see whether there is any edge that is higher than that. For sure the highest is 23. Then you had why, then you are going to ask me why ask yourself why did we have to type all this in order to get this? Remember, we are learning spreadsheets to know how to use the automatic functions that help us ease our work. If it's just finding edge, it's so simple, but you'll reach a time when you need all these formulas and functions to help you to deal with a lot of data where you cannot type the cells independently. So if I click here and I see this function here in the correct form and the value is this, then you get it correct. But if you just typed there 23 because you saw it's the highest, if I click here in the formula bar it has 23. That's wrong. You did not use the function. You had to use the other function that we put there, and that's the one we are marking. Still it will give us the good value. Can you guess what you are supposed to type here in order to get the lowest edge? This time don't use maximum, use minimum. So it's mean. So you type here equal to mean, follow the rest. I'm not doing that for you. Let me jump over to another function called count. No? Yeah, this one is called count. Yeah, number of students in sophomore. Number of students in sophomore. Sophomore is a year, name, age, year. So for example, one student who comes from sophomore is called Brendan. His age is 22. He's in year sophomore. Yeah, hometown Pete, and so on. So how many students come from sophomore? We need to use a formula. This time it's called count if. Actually it's count if. So we go to equal to count. I'll do this for you. Open count if, actually don't write count, or equal to count if, open brackets. This time you are not in cell B, we are in cell C, because that's where the year is, and sophomore is a year. So it's equal to count if, you need to see the range is C3 to C18. So we shall write C3 to C18. We shall put a comma, and then we shall put quotation marks, and we write that word there, sophomore. We need to write it in the correct spelling. We need to write there in the correct spelling, so that we get the correct results, sophomore. So if, let me give you an example. If I forget a E and I close brackets and I don't write the correct spelling because maybe I'm rushing and I press enter, it will give me 0 because it did not find any student in sophomore. But if, because the sophomore I wrote in the formula is not this sophomore, it looked through this range and did not find any value similar to sophomore. So I need to add the E, and then I press enter. Right, it found 5. It found 5 students coming from sophomore, in the year sophomore. We can cross check, and as usual, I told you, you look at the formula bar after clicking this to see the formula you wrote. So let me cross check with my plain eyes. Sophomore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are no other. So our function is correct. Go ahead and get a formula to get the number of students in the year senior. Senior is a year, just like sophomore is a year, so there are those in senior. Use a function similar to this, but instead of sophomore, you are going to write senior. The same applies to number of students in junior. Junior is a year as well, it's in here. So use the formula, use the function in this cell, but instead of writing, the rest are the same. The rest are the same. C3 to C18 is the same, but when you reach sophomore, change this to senior, change the one for this to junior. Let me leave it at that, and I go to the next. Number of students from Allentown. Allentown is not a year. I've not seen a year called Allentown. Allentown is a hometown. They come from different hometowns. Reading, Allentown, Philly, Reading, Allentown, Philly, Pitt, and so on and so forth. So the same formula is going to be used, but in this case, we are not in column C, we are in column D, and it's D3 to D18. You may watch this video a number of times if I'm a bit speedy. I don't want it to be so long, but I know if you watch it again, or you replay it, or you try to pause it and replay, you can understand it. Number of students in from Allentown, it's equal to count if, and then open the bracket. Remember, hometown is column D, so we are writing D3 to D18, close brackets and press enter. Wow, we did not finish it, sorry. After the D3 to D18, we have to open brackets and write Allentown. Sorry, I had not noticed that, Allentown, but that's normal. That's you need to know that sometimes things may not go the way you want it. It's probably because you are rushing or you've forgotten something. Yeah, so it's equal to count if D3 to D18 in quotation marks after the comma, Allentown, close brackets. The spelling of Allentown should be the same spelling as the Allentown you see in here. If you put a different one, it won't give you the correct results. And I've pressed enter. Number of students who come from Allentown are 4. That's according to the formula. And if I click here, the formula is shown in the formula bar. Let's cross check. Are there 4 students who come from Allentown? Yeah. Adrian comes from Allentown. That's 1. Dakota comes from Allentown. Those are 2. Erin comes from Allentown. Those are 3. And Jeff comes from Allentown. Those are 4. Big up. The formula, the function is correct, whatever you want to call it. Actually, now you have a confusion. What's the meaning of formula? What's the meaning of function? A formula is more of a written expression. It does not contain any of these, like you see equal to count if. There is an underlying formula. If, for example, you wanted to, that's all for what you are expected to do. But if you're interested in that, you be patient and you get to know how we are going to generate a chart. But I want to first show you a different way of getting the average, not the highest. I won't go into the highest. You know that an average is equal to total divided by number of items. So instead of using this function average, now I'm explaining the difference between a formula and a function. Here we used a function. Now let's get the same with a formula, not a function. So we shall say equal to, open bracket, we can say equal to sum actually, but still that is, still that is a function. But I can show you, so you can say equal to, let me show you something simple. It means you are going to go and say equal to B3, let me use capitals, B3 plus B4 plus, you understand, B5 plus B6. It's a long one, but it's more understandable. It means you are going to add up from B3 up to B18, then you close the brackets and you divide by the number of items. How many items are those? From 3 to 18, they are 16, and you divide by 16. Remember, this is just a sample, but if you want to get the real answer without using a function, though you are free to use what you want, it means you are going to write B3 plus B4 plus B5 plus B6 plus B7 plus B8 up until you reach B18. Close brackets, slash means divide by 16 is the number of items if you have to count the number of names which are there, and then you press enter. So that's the average which will come from there. But in this case, I don't see the reason why we use that. Yet we can use a function called average, as long as you know what it means. B3 to B18, I already talked about this, and it will give you that. So we've seen the use of these functions: average, max, mean, count, if. Use them accordingly. I'm deleting them from here because you don't need them. Now let's go to the part of generating a graph. You can generate a graph of any type, but in this case, if you are required to generate a graph of only students that scored A or B, if a student has A or has B, you need to put them in a graph. A column graph in this case is what I'm using as an example. What will you do? Number one, you need to identify all those students who have A and B, and you sort them and you put them aside. So we are going to select letter grade from the title up to the last student. We shall click more on this tab, and then you'll see this icon is called filter. Create a filter. Click it. When you click it, you'll see it's shaded. It's kind of checked. If you click it again, it's not checked. So I'm clicking it. It's supposed to be like that. And you'll notice something where we didn't select. There is no filter symbol. The filter icon is here because we select that. We selected this column and its data together with the filter command. So what are we filtering? We only want A and B. Of course, the others will follow automatically. Let me not go so far into advanced filtering, just scroll down and see they have showed you all these values which are there. In that column you selected the A, B, C and F. So uncheck F, uncheck C, you only have A, B, click OK. I think you can see it has sorted itself automatically. Now how do we get this into our chart? The chart is going to be showing the name and the percentage grade. So if you don't have this, you can change it in your title, name and percentage grade. So we want the names. Remember, these are only the names of students who scored percentage, a letter grade of A and B, or B in that case. So we are going to do a Ctrl+C for copying, and I'm doing a Ctrl+V or right click paste. if that is what you can understand, but in most cases you need to do Control V. I'm skipping a space here so that you do not confuse this information with this data. Then letter grade, you also select that information, Control C to copy, click here, Control V to paste. So now we only have students in this table. We have name and, actually don't need the letter grade, sorry. Yeah, the chart shows name and percentage grade. So we needed the percentage grade. Yeah, Control C and then Control V, because we need our chart to be meaningful. Name, percentage grade. So Abby has 91 and that one has an A, but we don't need the A in the chart, we just need their percentage grade. So after getting this information, you can remove this filter, or you may leave it there. So if I click back on this filter, all the information will be displayed back, but when it's displayed back, it will kind of disorganize our, it may disorganize our information we have there. Yeah. So the best thing is to leave it there. Yeah. The best thing is to leave it there in the way it was, so that we generate our chart when this information is like that. No problem, we may not need it another time, but if you need it, you can paste it on another worksheet or on some cells below down there. I just didn't want to scroll down. You can paste it here, but I didn't want to confuse you so much. I wanted you to stay on the same page, but you can still do the same. Or if you want, you can copy this and paste it somewhere else. So in this case, we want to generate a chart. Select name, percentage grade, and all that information. Go to the chart symbol, which is here, or you go to data, insert chart, or insert, actually there is insert, and then you'll get chart here. You click chart if you want that. Alternatively, you can click this insert chart. Remember, it's not always displayed unless if this is visible. Click here, click insert chart. Remember, I've only done that when the information is displayed. The chart which will come may not be the one you want. We want a column chart. So when you look at the chart editor, chart type scatter chart, that's not the one we want. We want a column chart. This is a column chart. But if you are not sure of which one to select, then you move down until you find a chart that you feel you understand, column chart. Click it, and there it goes. So the chart is here. Now it may look to be big, so you may have to resize it, and after resizing it, close the chart editor. You no longer need it. Click on your chart. We want our chart to move away from the data we have, so we are positioning our chart below. So you have our chart here, and now remember, the chart only shows those students who have scored what? It only shows those students who have A and B. So we can edit our chart title here if we need to. We can edit our chart title by double clicking the title, and then we can write there students with A and B. Simple, and that's all. I assume you can do the rest by completing all these. Just fill in the formulas in the highlighted cells, and that's all. I think you may have now gotten the idea of using the average function, max, mean, count if, and then generating a column chart or any other type of chart. Thank you for watching.